everybody, it's the Lawn Gnome and welcome to your November 2016 episode of Out of the Vault. If you'd like to take a look at all of the stuff Disney that I have reviewed up until this point, there's a playlist provided in the box below. So today I have a treat for all of you because this is a movie that you have all been requesting. So many of you have been so eager to see the day that I review. The 49th Disney animated classic from 2009, The Princess and the Frog. Of course, based on the famous fairy tale of The Princess and the Frog, but with a little bit of a different twist and, of course, some great Disney magic. Now, this was a very pivotal movie because at that point in time, Disney was really down in the dumps. We had seen horrible films from Brother Bear to Home on the Range to Chicken Little. I know I can feel you all shuddering just at the mere sound of the names of these films. But after a little bit of time with CGI, John Lasseter, who had already been given the reins for the animation studio, decided that it was time for him to pay more attention and give a little bit more tender loving care to this animation studio. And he also got one of the people who was very much positively responsible, I might say, for the Disney Renaissance, and that of course is John Musker, who co-directed this brand new film. This was not a movie that I saw in theaters because, let's face it, because of all the trash that Disney had been churning out, I was very skeptical about anything that the Disney Animation Studio had to offer unless the word Pixar was attached to it. But when I did see it a couple years ago, I actually did enjoy it, but I really wanted to see it again so I could give myself a true understanding and really give you guys a good review. So this movie is very good. It's got that beautiful Disney magic. It is a really big, bold thing for the revitalization of a possible Disney second renaissance, which actually did show up at this point in time, at least I feel, a few years later, to actually stop going with CGI and go back to the 2D cell animation, which was definitely something great to see because the color palette was beautiful, the style of animation was great, and I especially liked the twist that Disney actually chose when making this movie. The fact that it wasn't really a fairy tale, but rather it took place with fairy tale elements in the 1920s in New Orleans, and of course everybody was very appreciative of the fact that this was classified as Disney's very first black princess in Tiana, and she is a wonderful, lovable character, not just because of the fact that she is a princess, because ironically, there's a bit of a twist into what the movie refers to as princess, but in the beginning, she is a hard-working girl that wants a dream of building a restaurant based on her father's wishes and because she had a knack for cooking. And apparently, a prince from a far-off land named Naveen comes to the town of New Orleans, and he is this spoiled little brat whose parents cut him off. And through interesting events, the two of them end up meeting, and ironically, the prince is a frog, and when she kisses him, she turns into a frog too. So now it's up to Naveen and Tiana to break the spell and really learn about each other in the process. There's also an excellent voice cast. You've got two brand newcomers in Anika Rose as Tiana and Bruno Campos as Naveen, both played very well off each other. But you've also got a barrage of great voices, including John Goodman, Terrence Howard, Oprah Winfrey, a very unrecognizable Jim Cummings, who we all know is the voice of Winnie the Pooh, and probably a voice who I was really excited to finally see, and that, of course, was Keith David voicing the villain in this film, Dr. Fallacy, a voodoo witch doctor. And another big positive in this movie is the music. The songs are fantastic because it's a blend of jazz with classic Disney lyrics and soul and heart. Songs like Almost There, Dig a Little Deeper, and of course the villain's song, Friends on the Other Side, which a lot of people appreciate. A lot of people would probably put it up there with Scar's Be Prepared from The Lion King. It's a really cool song with a great visual to it. So all of these things sound great, right? But I gotta tell you guys, I don't think that it's the best movie that Disney has to offer. Granted, it was a huge step to where Disney is today, but even though it's got these beautiful elements and the Disney magic really returned in this movie, after the two main characters turn into frogs, I kind of feel that you just get a very simple story where you could have had a lot more added to it to make it seem like a truly great Disney story. it just didn't feel like something that I really enjoyed, and I feel that when they became frogs, as the story moved on, even though there's great visuals, there's great comedy, and of course great song, I just felt like I was really getting more distant from these two specific characters. And to me, that's pretty much what hurts. The other thing that really does not sit well with me is Dr. Fallacy. Now, he's got some very interesting moments in the movie that are very entertaining, but I just don't understand his true purpose, because usually when it comes to the Disney villain, it's usually the villain against the heroine or hero, and in this case, she's not really someone that's really attached to him, and when they finally have a cause for the villain to go after the heroine, it just is so forced and just really doesn't come off as something that flows along with the rest of the movie. So those two elements really drag the movie down greatly for me. It's not a movie that I would really see myself watching multiple times. I mean, most people will say, well, Lawn Gnome, listen, you've got Frozen. It's a very similar movie in terms of, you know, Disney Princess and songs throughout the film. That is true. I do have Frozen in my collection. But let's also remember that I'm not the one that added it to my collection. It was my wife who added this movie to our collection. And quite frankly, through time, Frozen is also a movie that sort of just drifted away, and I've sort of let it go as a Disney classic that I actually considered truly great, because at this point in time, I just think it's okay. And the same can be said about The Princess and the Frog. It's a movie that I will gladly see again, but it's not one of those movies that I would gladly see over and over again, like Aladdin or The Lion King or Big Hero 6 or Zootopia. And it's not a movie that I really feel I'd want to add to my DVD collection. So, if you love Princess and the Frog, good for you. You should, because it was nice to know that this was the first step to a whole string of wonderful Disney films that we were all aching for so long, but I'm going to give The Princess and the Frog 2.5 out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below, and let's have a discussion on The Princess and the Frog. I will see you when we review the newest Disney classic. So until then, actions speak louder than words.